Seeing in beautiful, precise pictures is an interesting piece, not even so much for what it's talking about, but for the basic fundamental circumstance of who wrote it. It was written by Temple Grandin, who is one of the most sort of famous examples of a person with what many would historically have considered a sort of intellectual challenge, who has then gone on to make good on it and actually served as a really sort of positive example, both for people with that challenge and just for people as a whole. Temple Grandin has autism and is often referred to as sort of as the face of autism, a person who has taken this thing which normally would be seen as a demerit and shown that it has particular specific benefits. In this piece itself, it discusses the importance of examples, the importance of exemplification, the importance of, being specific, specifically because in autism, sort of abstract ideas and vague ideas don't necessarily resonate. They don't have any value. But if you are very specific and you use specific examples, then things come through. Right from the very beginning, it says, because I have autism, I live by concrete rules instead of abstract beliefs. And because I have autism, I think in pictures and sounds. Here's how my brain works. It's like the search engine Google for images. If you say the word love to me, I'll surf the internet inside my brain. A series of images pops into my head. You'll see a picture of a mother horse with a foal, or I think of Herbie the Love Bug, scenes from the movie Love Story, or the Beatles song Love, Love, Love. So rather than being able to deal with the abstract idea of love, the idea love sort of gets run through this thing that gives lists of examples. And I think that that's a really sort of fascinating thing to consider just in terms of exemplification as a whole, is that rather than being abstract, which oftentimes students can be in their writing, or being vague, you just have to be specific, give specific examples. Don't just say kindness, show us example, 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 example. And those lists of examples will end up making things make a lot more sense. As it says here, when I was a child, my parents taught me the difference between good and bad behavior by showing me specific examples. My mother told me that you don't hit other kids because you would not like if they hit you. That makes sense. But if my mother told me to be nice to someone, it was too vague for me to comprehend. She needed examples for it to make sense. And similarly, in writing, examples end up enriching things. One thing about Grandin is that Grandin sort of first came to renown by doing things to help animals live in a more humane fashion, even if they lived in somewhere like a corral where ultimately they were going to be killed. It says, when I was first creating my first corral back in the 70s, I went to 50 different feedlots and ranches and helped them work cattle. In my mind, I cataloged the parts of each facility that worked effectively and assembled them into a new, ideal system. I get great satisfaction when a rancher tells me that my corral design helps cattle move through it quietly and easily. When cattle stay calm, it means they are not scared, and that makes me feel I've accomplished something important. That's a specific example, going in and talking about specifically, where she went, how she tried to help. So when you're working on your writing, do keep in mind the importance of exemplification, listing like example, example, example to prove your point rather than just telling somebody, be nice.